is being recorded.
It always sounds weird when I can hear it like that. Anyway, I shall begin. Welcome to Bank Holiday Breakfast Mailbag. It's 10 a.m. Good Friday as we're recording, and I'm joined by Ryan Reynolds, Laura Gates, and Matt Flusk. First off, what's everyone had for breakfast?
Hot cross buns.
Oh, very Eastery.
Yeah, I sent Ryan a picture just before we came on, and he said they were perfect. So
Ryan is the connoisseur.
I mean, the
more butter, the better.
What do you have, Ryan? Oh, it's tea time for you. What's you have for your tea?
Fish and chips tonight.
Lovely. Oh, nice. Yeah, Good Friday. Yeah, I think I'll probably do the same later. Matt?
Yeah, hit the spot too.
Yeah, also hot cross buns of the apple and cinnamon flavour.
Ooh, mine chocolate. Very nice.
Fancy.
I bought them by accident the other week and they weren't very nice.
Oh. So you had them again?
Just got to get rid of them.
The chocolate ones.
Oh, I like the chocolate ones. I don't like the
You got to go fruit. Be traditional.
No.
It's a traditionalist thing. Straight into the fruit.
Vile.
Be traditional, says the man who eats barbecue on Christmas.
Strawberry Pop-Tarts and a cup of tea for me.
Pop-Tarts, very nice, very nice.
Because I am clearly a fully grown adult. So, as with last week, I will see if we can nail this in 45 minutes. I think we did it in 43 last week, and Kate was on. So that is quite some achievement to nail the podcast in 43 minutes when Kate's on. So I'll go straight into it. And given the Tories have been fined all over the shop for lockdown parties, what's the worst party you've ever been to, Laura?
Oh, God. Worst party? God, the only ones I can sort of think of are like when you're at uni, when you first start going to uni, and obviously like being a fresher, like everyone's dead awkward, and you just can't, when you go to a party and like the start is just no one knows what to do, and you're all kind of just stood there like, yeah, this is interesting. And there's always some dickhead in the corner that thinks they're a DJ and gets like decks out, and probably just some sort of stuff at uni, but they were all legal, so didn't get fined for any of those, didn't get in trouble. Probably uni ones or family ones. Oh no, there's some family ones that have ended up in absolute.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of some of your family ones.
Yeah, definitely some family ones. The less said about those, the better. Probably shouldn't go into any more detail.
No, we'll leave it there then. I think the awkward thing at the start of a party, like it starts at the school disco, doesn't it? Where it's like there's a load of lads stood on one wall, a load of girls stood on the other wall, and the music's playing, and no one knows what. And it kind of carries on through your adult life when you get to a party where you don't really know people and stuff.
Yeah.
And just weird hanging around. Ryan?
Oh, mate. I had one when I was about 16 or something, and it was a friend's birthday, and I took a bottle of Jim Beam, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but when you start and you pour just like a little bit, and then you fill the rest up with Coke or whatever, and as the night progressively gets worse, it starts to get to like a quarter of a cup, a half a cup, then it's like 3/4 of a cup, and then there's like a splash of Coke in there. Yeah, that was a really bad night. All I can remember is Mum sort of like dragging me into the back of the car, spewed all the way home, spewed through my bed. I think I pissed the bed, and then I just remember waking up for cricket the next morning, junior cricket. Mum drove me there, like I was so sick, and I batted last. And I just remember like the wickets like getting like blown apart. It got bowled, and I turned around to the wicketkeeper and said like, "What the fuck? Why'd you kick the wickets over?" He goes, "Mate, you just got bowled." So I turned around and walked off.
Can you imagine the coach just seeing you staggering up, still half cut, like, you'll go far. Yeah.
It's like the worst thing is it's like I'm 16. It's like I shouldn't have been drinking anyway, but here we are.
This is the worst thing in this situation. Your parents will never do you a solid. Your mum done the decent thing there and said, "You know what? You don't have to do cricket this morning. Just leave it." But no, they put you through that torture because they probably themselves. My dad did the same to me once. Got absolutely wasted at I was only 17, was at sixth form. Got wasted at a family christening. Up, getting undressed and put to sleep on the couch by my girlfriend's uncle.
Wow.
In her nan's house.
That's not creepy.
Yeah, well, yeah.
This is a safe space, Les.
Yeah. God, I never thought of it like that. Anyway, yeah, he phoned me dad and said he's all right. He's just like really drunk and passed out. And then I got in like 10 o'clock the next morning. My lesson was 10:30. My dad made me go in.
Oof.
The sports studies class.
Yeah. My mum's made me do that a couple of times.
There's no need for it, is there?
My mum actually made me go. I remember when I was probably about 16 in college, and I'd been at a friend's house and got stupidly drunk, and I think it was my boyfriend at the time. No, or we stayed over at theirs, and I think my dad picked me up the next morning to find out that I'd spewed up all over their bathroom, all over the bathroom walls, but it was like black, sick.
Oh,
Right, and I had football that Sunday morning, so my dad picked me up like 9 o'clock in the morning, 8, 9 in the morning to go and take me to football. On the way back from football, my mum made me go and get a bunch of flowers and stuff and take them to their house, and like I had to go knock on the door, like tail between my legs, like I'm so sorry.
not only did she send you to football, she actually fully degraded you in front of
Oh
this.
yeah, 100%. I know she'd never let me forget about it since, or any other time I've thrown up, which is a lot. Terrible.
Matt?
I don't really do parties these days because I've had some horrible ones and I don't really like them. But where Christmas do's are often hit and miss, aren't they?
Mm.
And the one that comes to mind is they booked us into this place in the middle of nowhere in Warrington. Like it took us like a £15 cab just to get there. And it was like a kind of a wedding venue, but our office is quite small. So there was only about a quarter of it full. And then I kind of dragged on. But the really bad bit came afterwards when a bunch of us went back into Warrington. And we went to this, I can't even remember the name of it now, but it's some club. And the deal there is, oh, by the way, this is after I'd smashed my ankle. So if you remember this, Les, it's when I went out with Mike D'Asher and Keith Tomlin. And on the way back, like completely destroyed my ankle.
Oh,
and I had the Christmas do like 2 days later. So I turned up in a suit, a big black overcoat, and a big black cane. Which me mate had lent me. Me mate who's like in his 70s. And everyone's just looking at me like, what the hell's happened to you? I was like, oh, I broke my ankle. So I'm there hobbling around all day looking like some kind of Batman villain. And then we head back into Warrington. We go to this club. I have to hand him a cane at the door. So I'm leaning on me mate for walking around it. And the deal with this club is you pay something like £8 or £10 on the door, but everything's a quid. And signs looked quite good to begin with, because even behind the bar, they had like a full range of single malts and everything. I mean, they had single malt Isla whiskies for a quid. I was like, bloody hell, this place is quite classy. So we got a few drinks and we sat down. And then there was about 12 of, this is in January as well. This is a Christmas do that we postponed to January because the staff have been so crap about booking it that we couldn't find anywhere decent. And we're just sitting there looking around. There's about 12 people in there. And then some fella in the tracksuit comes in, and then he starts sort of not fighting with someone else. And he's like a middle-aged guy, and he's just sort of half dancing, half wrestling with someone, but like, and then a bouncer just walks over to them and just kind of stands next to them and just looks at them. And then they look at him and they all stop and just stand there in silence. And my mate just turns to me and goes, this is grim, this, isn't it? This is bleak. And we all just silently just stood up and trudged off to the train station. This is about 11:30 at night. So it was like last train back. I was like, I'm never going out in Warrington again. It's just,
At least you made the last train there.
Provincial, yeah, just about. Provincial towns in the northwest. I mean, the only saving grace about Warrington is that it's got a Chinese right next to the train station, and you can just go in, pay your money, go straight to the buffet, fill up a takeaway thing, and go out. And that's what we did. But it's provincial town nights out are just.
Well, I maintain on provincial towns. I maintain there is no more dangerous place on earth than the Argyle taxi queue in Birkenhead.
No.
Honestly, it's like you think of the most dangerous place you can think of, and then times by at least 10. You're guaranteed to have someone start on you. Probably about 3 people independently start on you in that queue. Awful.
Jesus.
I've actually got a really good work Christmas party story. We've got 2 seconds, but one of my mates, he's got a one false tooth. Anyway, it was right near the end of the night, and he was like paralytically drunk, and he vomited all over the dance floor, and his false tooth come out. So then he's on his hands and knees, like,
Oh no!
like just on this false tooth.
Oh, mate.
And like just no one was helping him. And like when a circle sort of forms around, everyone's sort of like looking at what he's doing. It was like the most humiliating thing I've ever seen.
Someone sees the circle from the distance and like John Travolta on the dance floor, and they walk up and there's a guy swimming in his own sick. Oh, mate, you've seen some sights.
Yeah.
Ryan, fucking hell.
You've lived, man.
Yeah.
Right.
For a night out with me, I promise it'll be good.
Well, it always is, isn't it? We all need to come over your gaff for a bevy at some point.
Yep.
That would be in a way, wouldn't it?
That would be class, that. Everton, tour of Australia, and we'll all come.
It's long overdue.
Definitely.
Now, if the Anfield Wrap can get 90,000 people over there, I'm sure we can get about 12. Come on.
We'd get more. We'd get 100,000. That's how many we took to Leo, wasn't it?
Easy, yeah. Get on the timeline. Next up, that last 5 minutes against Man United. Properly nerve-wracking. I was thinking at the time, there's nothing quite like that pressure of needing to win when you're at the bottom. So we've all been there in European qualification and you need to win. And that seems more like a bit of a nice to have, doesn't it? But when you've got to win when you're down the bottom, it's literally you actually need to win this. It's not even just, it would be nice if we did. You've got to. Like, the pressure's horrible. What was the most nervous you've ever been at Goodison, Matt?
Various derbies, really. And I've kind of trained myself out of it now. But when I first started going, it was like, you'd get in. I mean, you start the day, you'd have about 7 poos before you went out, wouldn't you? And you'd just be like, not shaking in fear, just like, oh God, I don't want to go through this. And you're sitting there. And I remember the Atkinson derby, and just I had this hole in my stomach all the way through. And as soon as he brought out that red card, I was like, yeah, there it is. Like, this is what was coming. It's but I've trained myself out of me now. I don't really feel that kind of horror anymore. And even against Man United, that last 5 minutes, I was quite zen, because in my mind, as soon as we got to about 85, 86 minutes, I thought, we're not going to lose here. We might draw, but we're not going to lose. What?
I said, Everton. Fucking hell, need to remind you.
No.
At home, fuck.
No, Newcastle game completely broke me.
Oh, thankfully I wasn't there. I was at my graduation. Oh.
But it did not. That game just makes it feel like any fuck up is possible. Because I've never seen us dominate a team quite like we did in that game.
Sick enough.
But yeah. What's your secret then, Matt? Just deep breaths and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's just football.
Yeah.
So, and there's so much more horrible shit going on in the world that I know that sounds a bit glib to say, and it's not that people shouldn't care about it. It's just me myself. I mean, I just let it wash over me. I mean, I sat there in the Denby watching the Spurs game, and I was just, with each goal that went in, I was just laughing. Like, you've got to embrace the farce of it.
It gets to that point though, doesn't it? Where you're so bad that you suddenly don't feel that bad about it. So in a game like Spurs, when that fourth goes in, you're like, well, yeah, okay, this is quite funny now because we are so shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Laura?
Yeah, the only exception is when I feel like we've been done over.
Yeah.
That's the only exception. Like when we've been done over by a bad decision or something like the Ala red card or something like that, like that's when I really do start to get.
There's been a few this season as well.
Oh, there's been, yeah.
The Spurs penalty gets overlooked quite a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. Laura?
God, I was going to say, like, after that Burnley game, Man United was probably close, because I was thinking, like, fucking hell, if we don't get something here, and I mean, like, we have to win this. And then, like you say, the last 5 minutes, I'm literally, because I'm, like, behind, like, the sort of media, and I've got, like, a sort of little wall there, my head's on it like that for the last 5 minutes, thinking I'm going to throw up. But as soon as that referee puts it 5 minutes added on time, I'm thinking I'm going to be sick here.
It's projectile all over Paddy.
Yeah, actually, he was sat behind me because it wasn't working, was he? So it would have been Dom King.
You get to harangue Adam Jones all game then?
Oh, yeah. It's brilliant. He literally, Adam Jones is right there. I always take a picture of him and send it to him. Like, how you doing?
Amazing.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. He loves that and takes it very well.
Yeah, he does take it very well, bless him. But that Man United game just after Burnley, because Burnley away, I was pacing. Like, why am I pacing around my house watching Burnley? Fucking Burnley.
Yeah.
I couldn't watch either penalty because I was like, I just don't trust them at all. Literally, and Kyle's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you just don't get it. You literally do not get it. And he thinks he's hard done by being an Arsenal fan. I can't. I really can't with that. But, oh God, derbies, I'm starting to, get like Matt with it. Sort of like, oh, I've just got to go. We'll just see it through. But I still can't help getting that sort of feeling of like, this makes me feel genuinely ill. And I don't know whether it's because my dad's a Red or what, but it's just hot. It's just the worst feeling. But I think United at home recently has been, sorry, the dog's trying. But yeah, United at home then came close. Because I've not been old enough to be part of sort of like watching Everton go through sort of a relegation scrap. So it's kind of like, this could happen here. Horrible sort of feeling. Did not like it. Don't want to do it again. Can't we just win? Imagine supporting City. That would be such a laugh.
Imagine just being normal.
Yeah, normal.
Do you know what I mean? Just win the games that you should, like we used to be about 3 years ago. Boring. And we were all moaning about that, but...
Oh, God, though.
Mediocrity.
I know. Embrace it, man.
Bring back boys.
Ryan? It doesn't
well,
it could just be watching the game, let's say.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I've been enough to Goodison. Obviously, not as many as you guys, but
How many have you been?
What would it be? I reckon I'm up to 5. Been to 5 Goodison times, and a few aways as well. The 3-3 derby with Liverpool, Martinez's season. That was my first game at Goodison, and that was nerve-wracking because obviously we were 3 up, and I was just like, oh, this is just, how good's this? My first time ever to Goodison, we're going to beat the Reds. So that was really nerve-wracking. But, oh, mate, watching the last few games from home have just been absolutely sickening. Like, yeah. Oh, I can't even describe how sick I feel watching it at the moment. Like, it's the worst. I'm really superstitious. And in the seat I'm in at the moment, I've seen our last, actually, no, I take that back. I've never seen us lose when I've been sitting in this seat. So from now on for the rest of the season, I am sitting in this seat for every single game, no matter what time it is. So
please do.
Yeah. And I actually have never seen Everton lose either in the flesh. So
right.
If,
come on, get that man a season ticket.
Well, if Papa Farhad wants to fly me over, I'm more than welcome to.
You're like the reverse Rick Wee.
The reverse Rick Wee. Brilliant.
Yeah, I think my most nervous time was probably Coventry in '98 when we missed the penalty and they scored, and basically we were still relying on Chelsea to win. It was just horrible, absolutely dreadful. More nerve-wracking than '94 for me because I got locked out in '94. We won't go into that. Ed's asked, I'm coming to you first, Laura, on this. What's the drunk you've ever been at an event or function? You may have already told us, to be honest. He's asking for no particular reason. Definitely not the fact that he's getting married tomorrow.
The fact that we've got his wedding tomorrow, yeah. Jesus. There's probably plenty of times. I don't know. Because I didn't mind it at uni because, I kind of just dragged myself off to my own sort of little room and no one's there to judge me. But when it's at home, like when I lived at home with my parents, that's horrific. But I fully, like my mum and dad have a go at me for it, but I blame them because my dad will just top up my drink, like even before it's finished. So like there's plenty of Christmases where I'm like, oh, I've like got half a like Prosecco left or champagne left or something. And he'll just top it up without me looking. So I don't know how much I've drank. And then next minute I'm just like, boom, on the floor, done.
There's you trying to pace yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying to be sensible. And
you've got somebody at top of your drink up.
Yeah, what's that about? But I think like when you get drunk at home, it's just so much worse because that feeling of guilt is far worse. Like the fear. Oh my God. I think there was a couple of years ago, we'd gone out for, I think it must have been New Year. And again, my dad did the same thing at the pub, just kept topping up my drink without me knowing. And then when it came to the end of the night, we were going home, and Kyle, I think it was the first time Kyle had come over to ours, or one of the first times, and I'd got in a car with whoever was doing lifts, And I text him going, "Oh, where are you?" And he goes, I'm literally right behind you. And I'm like going, "Oh, where are you? I can't find you." He goes, I'm right behind you. Get home. And then I'm sick all over my bed, all over my bedroom, like everywhere. And yeah, my mum was just absolutely fuming with me, which happens quite a lot.
I'm definitely feeling for Kyle in this scenario.
I feel for him all the time. After Man United, right? It was me and Matt last men sort of standing, wasn't it? And get on the last train home. Matt made sure I got on the last train home. I'm sort of having a nice time on the train, just listening to my music, and then next minute I just go, I've been sick on the train. So I let it off the train at the next stop, which was Green Lane. Rang Kyle and was like, "Can you come and get me?" He doesn't know where Green Lane is. He comes and gets me. Best, and then
for reference, for anyone who doesn't know, Green Lane is one of about 6 unnecessary train stations around Rock Ferry.
Oh, it's the most unnecessary station. I don't know why it exists. And
it's just to make that trip to Chester even longer.
Yeah, 100%. So I was just, he's done that quite a few times now. When we were in, I can't remember what game it was, but he brought the dog to the Denby when he came and picked me up, and everyone had a lovely time with the dog. She had some pub crisps. But yeah, there's been sort of a few instances where I'm like, I'm only going to go out for one after Everton game, and then end up either missing the last train or just getting the last train. Yeah.
Isn't it all round, really?
But my liver cannot cope with us winning any more games. God help us if we ever win a trophy.
So basically, for the sake of your liver and health, just get us gone to the championship.
I would be in a ditch somewhere. Yeah, it would be bad.
It would be pretty packed as well, the ditch. Ryan, expect big things here, mate.
Oh, mate, I totally forgot this story, and when Laura was talking, I remembered it, and I was like mulling in my head, should I tell it or not? But I just figure, fuck it, I'm going to say it anyway. So, it was on I think you guys call them stags, do? We call them a bucks party. So it was on a mate's bucks party, and as it turned out, plans got changed, and we ended up like 2 hours away from our hometown at the strippers. Anyway, I'd had a belly full of alcohol and decided I'd get up on stage and show the stripper how it was done. Anyway, I get kicked out by security, and then what happens next is a total blur. I wake up in a bush 4.5 hours away from home, basically. It's like a 4-hour drive home. It was, I don't even know how I ended up there, how I got on I honestly don't know how I ended up there. Speaking to some people who were able to piece it together, apparently there was another Bucks party and I got on the bus with them, but I don't know how true that is because I honestly don't remember all.
Jesus, and I had pretty much lived memento, haven't you?
Yeah. So I woke up and I had work that next day, and I was on a 12-month probation at the time because I'd only just started and I didn't want to get the sack. So I ended up having to catch a taxi like an hour and a half to the nearest train station to get back to where I was. It was amazing.
How did you survive? I ended up in a bush in Australia. Something's definitely going to bite me and kill me.
I'm dead set convinced that someone knows the real story and just refuses to tell me how I ended up there. But yeah, it's like the worst feeling I've ever had is to waking up somewhere like it was like in this park, and like honestly, I was lucky I didn't end up on like arrested or something, because like you're literally like asleep in a park, and I was like, where am I? What am I doing here? Like, how the hell do I get home? It was the worst and the best.
Christ. So Laura, you complaining about beer fear? We've got nothing on Ryan.
No, I just get proper beer fear though every time. I'm like, oh God.
Wake up in your own bed and you get it. Imagine waking up in a bush 4.5 hours away from where you live.
I'm far too sensible for that. I'm very sensible.
In fact, if we woke up in a bush 4.5 hours away from where we live, we'd be like in the Hebrides or something, wouldn't we? Far north of Scotland.
Jesus. But geographically, I live right down the bottom of Victoria, and I ended up right at the very top, basically on the border with New South Wales. Like the two towns that I woke up in are like side by side on the border. It was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you beat that.
I don't know where we go from there, but Matt, go on.
No, my one involves a lot of travel, but not inadvertent travel. I was at a wedding in Provence in the south of France, and it made me plan for getting back the next day. It was like a 3-day affair, but I had to leave on the morning of the third day. And my plan was get the little shuttle train from the town to Avignon, get the TGV to Paris, Eurostar back to London, train from London back to Liverpool. And I had all the times worked out and everything. Great, fine. Problem was the wedding was at a vineyard, and there was just magnums of wine everywhere. Not bottles, magnum-sized bottles, just straight from the vineyard everywhere. So obviously, I just get completely blotto. There was a minibus to take us back to the hotel, and I think I got on the last minibus there was, because they were doing like runs there and back all night, like from about 9 p.m. or something, for the Aldeas. And then I think at about 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that, I finally got on the last one with a glass in one hand and a bottle in the other. Spilled red wine all over my best suit, sitting there on this minibus going all over these ridiculous like backcountry lanes in France, just like wine flying everywhere, just like that, trying to pour it. And then eventually get back to the hotel. The only record I've got of this is a photo of me in the lift. I don't know who took it, but they took it on my phone with the wine glass and the bottle. And then I didn't put my phone on charge. So then I miraculously wake up the next morning, and when in your subconscious that you've got to like organize yourself and do stuff, and if you're sober you might have like anxiety dreams about it, thinking about the next day. Obviously I was so blotto and just dead to the world, but I just woke up like like that, and just like look around and say like no clocks in the room, nothing like that. Just quickly jump on my phone, put it on charge. So, come on. Like, oh God, okay. I'd missed the little shuttle train, but I still had time to get to Avignon to get the TGV. But I had about 15 minutes. So I just had to throw myself in the shower, rinse myself off, chuck everything in the suitcase, run down, check out and everything. Ask the lady at the front desk in very, very, very terrible French to order me an Uber, which luckily, if you ever got Ubers in Europe, they have little bottles of water in them. So luckily, I get in the back of the Uber, I was like, oh my God, water, thank you. It's like, throw that down me. I give him a massive tip to speed me as fast as he could. Thankfully, it was on like a Sunday morning, there's no cars about, so he did like 90 miles an hour all the way to Avignon. Sped me there, gave him like a €30 tip or something, legged it onto the platform. He had 2 minutes to spare, because I don't know what the hell I would have done if I was stranded in the south of France, missed me train and everything, and like, right, okay, call me dad, go get a flight or something. So I had a nice kip on the train back to Paris, but unfortunately it was like a 90-minute changeover for the Eurostar, and it was 30 degrees C that day. It was during a mad heat wave, and I had to sit there on the floor of Gare du Nord in 30-degree heat, hanging out my arse, just like, oh God, this is as bad as it gets. And, I don't know. I have no memory of the journey back really, other than just feeling terrible. But somehow I made it back. 15 minutes to spare though. Like if I'd slept 15 minutes longer, I would have been stuck in basically the middle of nowhere in the south of France.
I'd still be there.
Probably not enough money in my bank account to buy a last-minute flight.
Yeah,
because it's not American TV, is it? It's not like you could just go to the airport and say 1 ticket to Gatwick, please, or something.
It's not Home Alone, Christ. Oh, mate, that picture that was taken of you, someone was planning on taking you hostage.
100%.
I couldn't move you, so they just chipped it off and give you your phone back.
You've got a great picture of you coming back from Palace the other week.
Is that all where I'm sort of I'm somehow horizontal but sat up at the same time?
Yeah, I've got some pictures of you from after United as well. I'll send you those later. Good ones.
I think for everyone who went to Palace, that has to be the most drunk a lot of people have been by the look of it.
Yeah, it was good.
It was sensational away day and that. I am still glad that I never went, but for everyone who went, I salute the effort there. In a potentially related note, Foxy's asked, what's the closest you've come to being arrested? And he said, not sure why you all made me think of this. I'm blaming Ryan, so I'm going to you first.
100% Ryan. 100% Ryan.
This is going to just like disappoint absolutely everyone. I don't think I've ever come close.
Only when you were asleep in that park.
Yeah, like I've done a heap of like bad shit, but not like arrestable bad shit. I think I'm just a pest.
Draw the line of criminality. That's fair enough.
I mean, I guess shitting in a sink probably gets you close to arrested if you get caught.
I thought we'd get through an episode without the shitting in a sink, but no, it's got to be said. I was like, oh, Jesus.
There you go. Laura, you ever nearly been arrested?
I don't know what you define as like nearly being arrested. Like,
so my for example, me, it was at the derby where McAllister scored in the last minute. Good Friday, funnily enough.
Yeah.
It was an 8 o'clock kickoff, I think. It was carnage, basically. And I was given this cop-out stick from basically the park end to the club shop. Just walking around, just like giving each other loads. Next thing from nowhere, this copper grabs me, throws me up against the railings of the club shop. It was like, show me your ID. So I was like, feeling my pockets like I didn't have anything on me, thankfully, anyway, because it would have been a soft check. So, oh, there you go. And he was just being dead aggressive with me. He was like, show me the ID, give me the ID. He's like, I haven't got anything on me. And he was basically looking to radio a thing to get more people to just come and cart me off somewhere. And a fight broke out next to me. So as soon as he turned, I just bombed it. I was on County Road within about 3 seconds. It was that fast. But that's the closest I've ever come to being arrested, and I would not recommend it.
No, I don't think
I didn't like getting shouted at in school. So for some copper to lash me against some railing and threaten to arrest me, I was nearly in tears. It wasn't nice.
I'm just not very good at doing the whole I'm too guilty. Like I would never, I just don't do anything. I think when we were kids, my nan's neighbour used to get pissed off at us playing football in the road and stuff. And she was like, I'm going to call the police on you. And we were like, yeah, go on then, do it. Like that. Like nothing really, never really had any run-ins with the police. I tend to just stay away.
There's something very hot. There's something very wholesome about the fact that the closest you've ever come to being arrested is an old woman nearly phoning the police on you for playing football outside your house.
Do you know in West Kirby there's that what's that school next to the grammar school, the sort of like residential West Kirby residential?
Oh yeah.
There was a time when we used to play football in the hall there, and we sort of turned up one evening and it was all locked up, and one of the girls decided to sort of scale the sort of electric fence thing. And as she sort of did that, this big like siren thing was going off, and then like an automated thing was like, the police have been notified, like, and it just kept going off, but it was dead loud, and we all like fucking shout ourselves around. That was basically I'm thinking close to being arrested, but it was like, oh, the police are coming, run.
I'm thinking Max and Paddy now, back off, you bastard. Not Matt, any running?
No.
I go.
No, I'm the same. I've never even vaguely come close. I'm too canny, I guess. The only actual conversation I've had with a copper is when I got pulled over once. I'd had a bump on the front of the car and I had to get a new plate put on. And he pulled me over and he said, do you know that the front and back plates in your car don't match? And I had these plates for about 9 months and had an MOT in that time. I was like, no. And I jumped out the car and I ran round to the back. Then I ran round to the front, and the 2 letters on the end were transposed. I was like, "What?" Like, I don't understand. And he's like, "Look, just get it sorted out in the next 2 days or so. Like, I'll let you off." I was like, "Right, yeah, okay." But he could see I was completely baffled. So I went back to Halford, and it was the same lad who like sold me them like 9 months ago or something. Some little scally. I was like, "Yeah, I've got a plate on the front of my car that I bought from you, and it's wrong." And he's like, "Oh God, sorry, I'm dyslexic. I do this all the time." It's just like, are you kidding me? Like, and it's like the reg plate of some black Audi or something like that, and I'm driving around in like a Hyundai blue estate dad car. It's just absolutely surreal. But no, that's really the only any kind of conversation I've had with the police. There was one time when I went to a beer festival when I was working out of town with a mate, and it ran over far too long, and we ended up like drinking whiskey on the tailgate of my car in the hotel car park. And then I went in the next day to the place, and the place I was working at involved walking past armed police, and I had to like completely compose myself and just like, as sensible as I could, just like walk past him. But thinking back, I was probably all over the place. I was like saluting and stuff like that. Plus there was like steps up, walk through metal detectors, step down, and like the guy's just there with this great big massive weapon. It was like, he must have seen me and thought, you get this one. This is the one. You get this one next time I'm having you. Because they're trained to spot any and all, errant behavior, anything suspicious. And there's this big mad scouser just like struggling to like put his 4-digit number in the thing like that, and then just like collapsing through the turnstile.
Yeah, the only sort of run-ins I've had with like anything authority is like bouncers in sort of nightclubs and stuff, but that's like, they're just the absolute fucking worst people. I hit a guy at uni in our SU because he cheated on his girlfriend with my mate and told my mate that he didn't have a girlfriend. So I just straight up walked up to him, slapped him, and then the bouncer was like, off you go. And I was like, worth it.
Right,
yeah, that's fair.
Fair enough.
I was
shaking his hand like James Milner getting sent off.
I got dragged out to Howl at the Moon down the stairs and thrown out onto whatever street that is by a bouncer, which was nice.
Yeah, I've been thrown. I got two girls started on me on a nightclub in Lincoln for no reason whatsoever, just turned and started on me. So I literally just like gave it back, and then my mate, who was like a scrawny little gay lad, he picked up one of them and just threw them to the floor. And then we ended up getting kicked out, and I just turned around to the bouncer and said, well, my granddad always told me if anyone hits me, I hit them back twice as hard. And they were like, fair enough, off you fuck. dragged me out the back way as well and threw me into the street, and I was like, okay.
I won't take the flag.
But they got to stay, and they were the ones that started on me.
You never see all this nuance, do they? Ever?
They always pick on the one with the slightly Scouse accent. Especially in Lincoln.
Warren's asked, what is or what would be your dart playing nickname? And he's kind of said, E.G Ravishing Les Roberts, which I'm having. I'll have that. Ryan? You should have Ravishing Ryan Reynolds. Oh my God.
I reckon balding Ryan Reynolds, if you see how the feathers are disappearing at the top.
The bald eagle.
Yeah. What do you reckon?
Jeez.
Yeah, mine's on its way. I had a proper scare cut last week after we got beat 7-1 in a cup game. So when I got off in a Thomas Myra-esque fit of peak. What a darts nickname?
Oh, I asked Kyle to give me one, but he then went and did one of those like name generators, and it gave me a shirt and everything. So I've got two.
Okay.
First one, and I was like, I don't know how it's got that, but Laura the Guinea Pig Gates, and here's the shirt.
Laura the what?
Guinea Pig Gates.
Okay. Nice.
And then we've got Laura Go Gadget Gates with a really funky sort of Hawaiian looking shirt.
Oh,
that's the one. Go.
That's the one, isn't it? That's the one.
Go Gadget Gates. I like that.
Yeah. So just did a name generator and thought, yeah, do your worst. And it didn't really do its worst. I thought
it didn't disappoint though either.
No, it didn't.
Matt?
I think given my nature, I think the only way to go would be Molotov Matt Flusk.
Like the throwing action you've got as well there, isn't it?
Yeah, Molotov Matt Flusk, and my walk-on music would probably be like the Internationale or something, sang by the Red Army Choir. If I don't get cancelled for making that reference these days.
Have you just really quickly, Burnley have sacked Dyche?
Have they?
Wow.
what?
Yeah.
We've never had breaking news on Mailbag.
Breaking news on the Mailbag, 10 o'clock in the morning, they've fucking gone and sacked Sean Dyche.
Wow. Oh,
Is anyone else now just a little bit nervous? Like a little
new
bit.
manager bounce incoming.
Who are they going to get though?
Carlo Ancelotti.
Big Sam.
Oh God.
Great.
Could you imagine?
Gravy kicked his back.
Sam Allardyce revenge tour.
What's the most nervous you've been at Goodison the next fucking few games?
It is. It's as you said, Matt. Allardyce the revenge tour. Bloody.
Burnley's not staying up now. They sacked Dyche.
It's got to
They're
be.
gone.
Then, isn't it? I'll move on. Laura, you asked what's the worst mac and cheese you've ever seen? I'm giving Ryan a walkover for his mac and cheese because he did say it needs to be heated up.
Yeah, but what's with the mashed potatoes? It does look like you've got mashed potatoes in that as well.
It's literally just mac and cheese. It's just a very cold mac and cheese.
Four
Heated
types
up
of
in it.
cheese.
What about those tinned Heinz mac and cheese? Have you had
Awful.
them?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Vile, but still would eat.
Oh, no, I bought one for Jay, and it's like,
It's watery.
do you know, like Heinz tomato soup's just red soup?
Yeah.
This is like yellow soup.
Soup.
In it. Oh, it's grim.
Like,
through the last week because
yeah. What was that then?
I don't know, what was that?
Sorry, that was me. I had a video
Oh,
automatically load up.
I tell you, there's a cracking mac and cheese down the hatch.
Down the hatch. Keith sent one the other day that looked fantastic because we've got our little scran chat. Where's his mac and cheese?
Yeah, his mac and cheese is lovely.
Decent.
Looked quite good.
Yeah, the one at Thingy, the one down the hatch has Frank's hot sauce in it. Would recommend all day hot sauce and mac and cheese. Matty, any thoughts on this?
No, I don't really eat mac and cheese. I think I've eaten it twice in my life, and both times it was actually sensational because my best mate made it. So, and he's a grill man, so I don't know. No thoughts really. I think I've had a mac and cheese burger as well.
See, Ryan, you could throw yours on a bun without heating it up.
Oh, mate, everything's better in a bun, isn't it?
Gotcha.
Anyway,
or pastry, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Very good.
Donna's has asked 2 questions. So, what's the worst album by your favourite band?
Ooh.
Good question, that isn't it?
My favourite band would be Pale Waves, and they've only got 2 albums. And sort of their most recent one, I would say, would be my least favourite, even though I like it. I just prefer the first album. I think like the first album, like when I sort of first got into them, and also like found a lot of the songs more relatable, and just really enjoyed every single song on the album. And in the second one, I just felt like wasn't up to that same sort of level, but still good.
The second album's always a tough one.
Yeah, but I've still went to both tours, and both times they smashed it. So
yeah,
that's what it's
Ryan.
Oh, mate, I find it really hard. I find it like, I just don't know. Can I pass?
You can pass. Fine. Matt?
I don't really have a favourite band as such, but among the bands that I do like consistently like, I'd probably say Radiohead. I just can't get on board with King of Limbs.
Yeah,
it's just not. It just seems to, and if you're going to pick one Radiohead album that sticks out, a lot of people would say like Pablo Honey, but I think given their age at the time and stuff and where they were coming from, that was perfectly acceptable as a debut. Yeah. And obviously they went on to do what they did. And another one actually, and this is probably going to get me cancelled, but Arctic Monkeys, I think far and away their worst album is AM. I think if you line it up against all of them, I just think it's overproduced, crowd pleasing shite.
Yeah, I'm right for a good cancelling here because I don't really like Arctic Monkeys that much.
Fair enough.
I find it hard with favourite bands. Like, I don't know, my favourite band's Biffy Clyro, and I dead set could not pick a bad album. Maybe it's because I just obsess over them, and I think everything they make's great. But it's just so hard. It's so hard.
Yeah. Because even if it's not that good, you'll talk yourself into it being that good.
100%.
Yeah, I get that. Definitely. Good shout though on Radiohead, Matt. Because Pablo Honey is the weak album, isn't it? But as you say, it was the first one when they were very young and they were still finding the sound. It was early 90s, so it was quite grungy.
Yeah.
But you look the way they go through the gears now to the Bends to OK Computer to Kid A in a decade. That's outrageous, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, for them to absolutely peak, in my opinion, within Rainbows, and then come up with King of Limbs, you might think, they're past it. But then they come back with the moon-shaped pool, which is actually,
Yeah. I think
pretty damn good
Limbs,
records.
it sounded very Tom York solo stuff at the time, didn't it? It was similar to the
that's true.
stuff he was doing. So, shout them. Next up, Donners has asked if you put one Everton player, past or present, into room 101 for crimes against football, who is it and why?
Aiden McGeady, jeans.
Very good points.
Do I need to say more? Because the football wasn't great either.
No, that's fine, and that could be the title.
Aiden McGeady, jeans.
Jeans. Yeah, that'll do. Ryan?
Antel and Alcaraz, just for being absolutely shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's another shout. Matt?
Oof, God. I'm trying not to pick any current players because that'll be mean. But based on the last 2 games, you might say Calvert-Lewin, but that'd be a bit harsh given that he's what he's done before. God, take your pick, Jesus. I'm such a soft touch for players. I tend not to like hold any kind of grudges against them unless they do us over. But
John Joe Kenny.
Mine is Nick Barnby, bastard. There you go.
Oh yeah, obviously, yeah. Jonathan Joseph Kenneth is a good idea. Give him his full name. Yeah. Oh, I mean, he did fuck us over, but Slaven Bilic, he took the right royal piss out of us, him.
Yeah.
And he's dined out on having played for Everton ever since, which is just come on, mate.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. We're on 44 minutes, but we've only got 2 questions left, so I'll go with it. Dan has asked, he's recently moved to the Sticks. There's a pub near him with a jetty. Should he buy a canoe? 1-word answer. Matt?
Yes, but I'm going to enhance on that answer saying I sent him the picture. He should buy the boat from Indiana Jones.
Yes, that's right. Laura?
Yes, because I like where my office is from our house. It's like dead opposite. There's just a body of water in a way, and it'd be quicker if I just got a canoe, so I'd be straight onto that, and I wouldn't have to pay the tunnel fee.
You should as well, then.
There we go.
Absolutely not.
No.
You just get wet in a canoe. Ridiculous.
No, that's only to fall in. You did that.
Canoes are very difficult things to maneuver. No, thank you.
But remember, there's no deadly creatures lurking in our waterways.
Exactly.
That's true.
Although
the water's ice cold.
This is true. Swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Mm.
And we're going to finish on some madness. I think you should as well. We're going to finish on some madness from Keith.
Okay.
Couldn't end the podcast without throwing this question out there. I do worry sometimes though, but he's asked, toddlers, could you fight before you were overwhelmed? So you're in a room 12 meters by 6 meters with a single door. The toddlers are released in waves of 5 every 30 seconds. You're unarmed but can choose your footwear. There are no windows, but bright strip lighting illuminates the room. So we've had one reply to this. Stephen Guinness said the first 5 would cling to you, leaving you vulnerable for the next influx. Once it gets to 10 or 15, you'd be overwhelmed. They would systematically tear you apart, limb from limb, remorselessly. So we're going to end on some darkness here, I think. Matt?
I think I answered this question in the Keith Wine Bar and Lark Lane to him. It sounded familiar to me. And my answer was I could probably take an indefinite amount before maybe I died of exhaustion or something. Because 30 seconds is a long time. And you've only got 5 of them to deal with. So you stick a pair of steel toe caps on. 5 of them come out, you just take turns punting them across the room hard as you can. And that won't take 30 seconds. You could probably, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could probably do it in 10 seconds. And you got 20 seconds to catch your breath. And then the next 5 come. You just keep doing that.
I imagine you'd only have to hit them once and they wouldn't come back either.
They just cry.
No.
Fair.
Laura?
Well, I wouldn't think they'd cry. I think they'd die because I'd boot them in the head. So.
See,
the toddlers, they're low down, aren't they?
The darkness is descending.
I'd probably wear a pair of heels and just jab them.
God.
In the head as they come out.
Would you take the heel off in true sort of Saturday night scrapping woman?
Bang.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I've probably got more power in my legs to sort of hit them.
Well, this is it, isn't it?
So, see.
How many do you reckon then? Same as Matt, just until you got exhausted?
Yeah, there probably would be an element of exhaustion for me because I probably couldn't keep up with toddlers running at me. But yeah, until I just gave up and just got overwhelmed. Yeah.
thing is as well, we're sort of assuming that these toddlers are actually murderous toddlers, which is quite a stretch.
I don't think that's quite a stretch. Have you?
Oh, right, just walked in. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Ryan.
Well, as a father of one toddler at the moment, I reckon I could deal with about 3 at one time. Let alone 5 in the room at 1 second. It is the toughest experience of all time. 3 toddlers would see me through. I think I'd just surrender and let them just like run all over the top of me and bury me.
Yeah, do you know what? That's just giving me some bad flashbacks to soft play areas.
Oh God.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm with you on this, Ryan. I couldn't cope very well at all. It would be around probably the first wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just white flag it, mate. It's just not worth it. It's surrender and hope they show forgiveness.
It's all futile anyway. Just give up. That's it. We've done it in 49 minutes.
Good effort. Good effort.
Well played, everyone. Yeah, thanks to everyone who sent questions in. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to Laura. Thanks to Matt. Have a lovely bank holiday weekend. Toffee free as well. And we'll catch you next time on Mailbag.